Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legacies episodes 204, titled Since When Do You Speak Japanese, which premiered Thursday, November 7th, 2019 on the CW. I'm recording less than 24 hours later, so it's November 8th for me, just due to the fact that my throat was so raw after recording my Supernatural one last night, and I've been dealing with a sore throat and a cough all week, so it just didn't want to push it for my throat. So I am here now. So huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first and then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. I will try to do this in 30 minutes. I also, in case if I miss anything I normally talk about, I don't have my usual document that formats my episodes for me, since I'm at my parents' house at the moment dealing with some family things. So it's the only time I actually had the house to myself to record. So that's why, in case I missed something, that's the reason why. So I'm going to try to do 30 minutes, so let's start the clock. Let's begin with what happened in this episode. So the episode quote being, "Since when do you speak Japanese?" was said by Dorian to Josie, and we find out that Josie was able to learn Japanese because one of Lizzie's last therapists was beside a Japanese language school. So there's that. Timeline-wise, the episode does show us a little bit about 1308 Japan when it came to finding out more about the samurai and how he got caught up in the creature that he is hunting down. So there's that. But in regards to the present day timeline, I believe it's maybe the day after the events of 203 because I think it's either a day or two because Josie is actually having like a physical reaction. She has a huge rash after using black magic. So it seemed like it was a recent affliction. And also she hasn't had enough time since using black magic to come clean with a Lark about that. So that's why I'm assuming it's only been a day, even though for us it's been a week. But episode reminder will be the fact that we got to meet the Japanese samurai named Kuruda. He is from 1308, but because he got consumed by Malivore and then got spit back out, he finds himself in 2030. So that's a huge wake-up cry there. Featured creature of the episode is the Oni, or the Possessor demon. I guess you could say that's the one that gets passed along through human, or through, I shouldn't say human because it goes around supernatural beings as well, but through living creature and through touch. So anytime someone touches the being who is possessed, that person is no longer possessed and it goes to the new person. So there's that. And the samurai is trying to hunt down the Oni, even gotten to the point that he allowed himself to be possessed by the Oni, and even exclaimed the fact that because his mind was so broken, he was able to still have partial control and be aware of what the Oni was trying to do. And he took a vow to never touch anybody again, just through simple hand gesture, or just to ensure that the Oni wouldn't possess anybody else. So there's a little more backstory there. Episode storylines, I did pick up on 3 specific ones that happened for this episode. First one being the demon hunting samurai. Second one being the question of, is Sebastian real? And the third one being the flailed flirting that we got to see. So with the first storyline, this is where we get the 1308 samurai being spit out of Malivore into 2030. We found out his sword lights up whenever supernaturals are around. That's how he's able to track down the Oni. But then he comes across the school and it lights up around all the students. So there's that. We do see the Oni possessing Raphael, Landon, and Lizzie. Although Lizzie is able to have partial control over it. It's a little heartbreaking because with Kukata, he said that it was because his mind was broken that he was able to gain partial possession. So it's kind of leading everyone to assume that that's the case for Lizzie as well. And she even stresses upon that, like, she's already crazy, so it wouldn't make a difference for her if things went south there. I think it's something more than that. I think maybe it's possible because of she's bipolar, I believe, so maybe that's why the demon couldn't take complete control over her. I don't know. Don't come for me. I don't know much about being bipolar except for the few instances it's been in my shows. But it'd be very heartbroken if it were because Lizzie was broken. I don't think she is broken. But we'll have to see about that, hopefully. And then also we do see Josie siphoning out the black magic from the samurai sword and blasting it at Lizzie to send the demon back to Malivore. So there's that. Second storyline is the fact that is Sebastian real? Lizzie's very excited for her first picnic date with him, but MG is very concerned because he doesn't see Sebastian, so he thinks that Lizzie's just making it all up. So he has the plan of videotaping that date and showing her that she's talking to nobody, which breaks Lizzie's heart and ends her friendship with MG, only to have Sebastian actually confronting MG and asking for help, even though other people around them cannot see Sebastian. Somehow MG is now able to see him. So that is something there. He also stated that he's no longer able to connect with Elizabeth, as he puts it. So there's that. And then the third storyline was a very little small thing, and it's failed flirting between a Lark and Sheriff Mac. Still don't know if it's actually her last name is Mac, because we don't get a first name yet. But he finds out that she has files on him and thinking that she's investigating into him, but then she reveals that she's only looking into him because she wanted to see what kind of guy he was, because she wanted to see if it was worth asking him out. They also played on the part that she did that because she has trust issues. She's had bad relationships in the past. I don't know if they're trying to specifically have it mimic Lark's own bad history with relationships, but there's that. Excuse me. Okay. Last scene of the episode actually showed Lizzie having dreams and then remembering Hope, and specifically calling out Hope Andrea Michelson. So having her remember just what she was missing. Again, not sure if that is specifically because Lizzie just had encountered the Oni. Not sure if it's because or if it's because of what happened in the dream world and like how like she might not remember things, but the genie did tell her that those who don't remember found themselves going insane because they couldn't tell which one, if the dream world or the wish world they created was any different from like the real world. So I'm wondering if that had caused with Lizzie as well. I will bring that up later on though, for sure, in my questions, because I do want to dive further into that. So let's move on to characters though very quickly. We do find Landon recognizing Hope as the girl he sees whenever he dies, and he's wondering why that is. With Raphael, we find that he is still struggling with crowds since he hasn't been a human for that long. Especially if I'm correct, it's only like the next day since the events of 203. Raph just became a human again in 203, and we only saw him spend like the first night as a human. So if anything, it could only be day 2 for him. So he's after months of being a wolf. So he's still struggling with the differences there. With Lark, we found out that he has a restraining order put out against him from the school, which is a dick move by Barnabas's part. So there's that. Don't know how that's going to work considering his daughter still go to the school, and I'm wondering if Lark will tell Caroline to let him know, like, hey, the guy you just hired to replace me has now kept me away from the school. That should be like a red flag right there, but we don't know about that. With MG, we do have him finding Kai's video message, and it's assumed that MG erased it to record Lizzie's date as his proof that Sebastian isn't real. But I love the fact there that they managed to keep Kai. I think that was Kai's video message to explain his little sleep spell on Elena, connecting her to Bonnie, I believe. So it was great to see that video still around, but I will bring that up later on. But yeah. And then the last character thing is the fact that Lizzie disowned MG as a friend after he told her with his proof that Sebastian was real, kind of taking away her brief moment of happiness and stuff. So there's that. Let's move on to tidbits very quickly. So in regards to the black magic, we do see the twins once again getting side effects. So if one twin uses black magic, the other one is going to get the exact same side effects. So that's the case with Josie having this huge rash on her shoulder because she's black magic. But then Lizzie is also having a very similar rash, but on a different part of her arm because of that. So there's that. We also see Josie reacting heavily to the black magic after she siphoned it into herself and being like very sick after it. She goes to Vardamus to kind of get a fix for it, and it completely takes away those side effects. It makes her feel like more alive again, which I'm gonna have to talk about later on, but we do see that. But we do see that Hope has no effects to the black magic, because whenever Josie touched the samurai sword with the black magic, she said it was hard for her to even hold the thing. It was so much darkness there, but then Hope did touch the sword with ease. She didn't react to it whatsoever. It was like as if it was a regular sword. So we see her having no issue with that. Now I'm left wondering if that's because of her tribid status, because of the fact that vampire does tend to have like a bit of dark magic to it, the werewolf too as well, with the curse behind it. So I'm wondering if that's kind of counteracting what the witch part would be deemed as dark magic, but I don't know. So there's that. Another tidbit is the fact that Lark finds out that Josie and Landon are officially together when Josie calls Landon her boyfriend. I thought he already knew, but then his reaction is like him saying boyfriend kind of made it sound like, oh, maybe you're just like hoping like it was just a fleeting thing. So there's that. Another tidbit was the fact that Landon delays taking that next step with Josie. She's ready to disrobe, as it were, and he tells her not yet soon, he tells her, which is understandable because they all just went through something very traumatic, and you don't really want that first time between them to be clouded with that. Although some people might do it just to, or in this case, some might do it just to erase the thought of it temporarily. But yeah. Plus, I also don't know if he said it because he's still having, like, maybe he's having some kind of doubts because of Hope and trying to figure out, wanting to figure out what the connection is with her before taking that next step with Josie. I don't know. Maybe it's the hand-in part of me that's kind of hoping for that. But there's that. Another tidbit is the fact that there are not one but two beings in the red cloaks that gravitated towards the new gooey Malivore pit, and it happens to be in the town square of Mystic Falls. Don't know how anyone is not going to notice the fact that this live goo is oozing out and stuff, but there's two of them now. So the other previous times that we've seen them, it could have been two separate people in two different places making sacrifices and stuff. So there's that. But let's move on to shocking moment of the episode. I think for me it would have to be the fact that MG actually saw Sebastian. I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. I was still under the... Maybe like not like... Yes, previous episode when it was revealed that only Lizzie could see him, I thought maybe he might be a ghost. But then maybe I thought like it was like the whole medium thing that Jeremy experienced in season 3 of the Vampire Diaries. I was thinking maybe that. But then the fact that MG was able to see him, but other people still couldn't, yet MG couldn't see him before, makes me wonder, well, what the hell's going on? So that was a shocker there. I think also another shock would have been, now that I think about it, was just the whole situation with the demon possessing Lizzie. Not the fact that it was possessing her, but the fact like how it was done, how Josie kind of expelled him with the blast of black magic. I kind of expected Hope maybe to interfere in some way, shape, or form, but I was surprised. Like, it's great to see that the bout of magic that Lizzie and Josie were able to do separately and then for each other. But then I kind of expected the fact that Hope was a tribid to kind of be like some kind of a loophole for them. Like, she's a loophole for many things. So there's that. Sorry, I can already feel the rawness in my throat just like building right now. And you know me, I don't like pausing through recordings because of the timer. Okay, so let's move on. Favorites for the episode. I want to say Lizzie did a phenomenal job in this episode. I love the final scene when she was having all these clips of our memories about Hope just flashing through her dreams, and then her reaction to remembering who Hope Andrea Michelson is. Of all the people to remember first, I'm excited to see what it would mean for Lizzie, because even her meeting Hope again, it was so different. It's like, oh, we haven't met. I'm Lizzie. It's like, it was welcoming, and it's like, that's very different from how we were first introduced to the Hope and Lizzie dynamic last season. So, and then to have her have, also, does that mean like Lizzie has all her memories back of Hope and stuff? So that's something, but I just love the idea that it was Lizzie of everybody that remembered, so that was great, because their friendship at the end of after the spring break of last season was really starting to get some of that. I was really like rooting for. So there's that. Also Lizzie's not only is Lizzie fighting against the demon, but just whenever the demon tapped into her, and then like you can see that dichotomy and how that's so different, that it was being played and how there's a difference. And then there's also you guessing, wait, was that Lizzie or was that the demon? And just like that struggle she was having, that was so well done. It was just like, it was also heartbreaking too to see her breaking down and saying like, Also matching up with the insecurity that Lizzie has, which is so relatable. Yes, it's more of an extreme for her, and it's really based on like she believes it's because her mind is broken, she's a little crazy and stuff, and that's why she has all these insecurities. But at the root of it, her insecurities aren't just hers alone. Like, everybody feels those insecurities, maybe on very different levels to what she feels, but everyone does feel those insecurities. And I love that we got to see that through Lizzie. It's still heartbreaking to see that though, but be able to see a character reacting to them in that way was just, it was rewarding to see, but then also very heartbreaking. Made me have me really feel for Lizzie in the episode. So it's like she's really growing, and I'm really loving that. And so there is that. Another favorite I did have was Hope comforting Raphael. It was very cute just to see like when Landon kind of slightly playfully accused Raphael of only tagging along because he hoped to see Hope again, and then Raphael just going like, no, that's not why I'm here to help you out. And then it's like, if we happen to see Hope, it's cool. And it's just like that little small nugget there. But then also to have when Raphael just got done being possessed and he's still like shaken up, and then Hope's like there comforting him and making sure like you're okay and like what happened. And then Raphael kind of like took a breath when he saw her, and like kind of like knowing instinctually that she could help him. It was just like, because as you know, with that love triangle last season with Hope, Landon, and Raphael kind of forming, now that like two parts of that triangle don't remember the third part, it kind of has me wondering, will things play out differently? Yes, I'm still hoping for Landon to happen, but like I know Hope won't let things go that way with Raphael, but I'm wondering if Raphael will still have that gut instinct that he had with Hope, even though he might not remember who she is. I'm hoping for that, just like in a similar way that Landon still has those death memories of Hope. Whenever he dies and gets resurrected, he sees those flashes of her, not really knowing what the emotional connection is there. But I'm hoping for something. I definitely like the friendship. Like, didn't she say at one point that Raphael was her best friend? Like, didn't she say that at one point? So it's like, I'm really glad to see the two of them working together, or at least her being there for him, especially when she knows a little bit more about the situation than him. And I really hope that she takes him into his pack, because doesn't she technically have her own pack as a werewolf? Like, you know what I mean? So there's that. Another favorite, as always, is going to be Hope and Lark. Especially their final scene when they're both burying the samurai. Yes, that's a little grim, but what I liked about it is the fact that Lark was very thankful for Hope being there for the twins and helping them out, and she's just telling them like they didn't need her, like they were able to do it on their own type of thing, and just showing how much she will be there for him and his family if he needs it, just how much she cares, and then actually having him say his thanks towards that. Also the fact that, Lark was giving Hope advice, saying like, you need to go back to the Salvador school, and she's like saying, no, I don't want to, and he's trying to get down to the root of it. It's like, why do you not want to go? And then she explains that she doesn't want to know, she doesn't want to put herself in the position where Landon would have to pick between her and Josie, and he ends up picking Josie. But then Lark's like telling her, if you had this epic love, wouldn't you rather know than to always wonder whether or not what his choice would be? And on one hand, I'm wondering if Lark's saying that just so that hoping that Landon would pick Hope just so that Josie isn't dating anybody, because that's still his daughter. It was just having that advice there and just having that dynamic of like supporting each other. That's what I liked about the Hope and Lark, as always. So there's that. Moving on to peeves. Now that I had listed everything, I didn't think I had many peeves, but I do. But one peeve I did have was the fact that Hope actually had this moment with Landon, but the peeve of the fact is it wasn't Landon, it was the possessed version of Landon. So Landon, the real Landon, doesn't even remember having that moment with Hope where she confessed the fact that they were in love once, she's the one that stopped Maliver, she's the one that dropped in the pit, all the things she should be telling Landon, and she technically did, but then she told a version of Landon that's not going to remember. So like, that's the peeve there. It's the fact that we had that moment, and then it was just like, nope, too late, fooled you, he's not going to remember. So that was a peeve there. Another peeve I have is just Josie going to Professor Vardamus, and the fact that she went and he was able to take away all those side effects. Is like, now that there's no consequences to her using black magic, I feel like that is setting her up for using black magic more, and she's just going to use that hourglass thing to take away those side effects, and she's going to keep using more and more and more, because those side effects, once they're used from the hourglass, are taken away indefinitely. So it's like there's nothing really stopping her from using black magic. because beforehand it was the side effects and being sick that is what compelled people away from using it. So I just don't like the idea that now we're setting up Josie to go down this dark path of black magic or forbidden magic, and it just feels like it's something that it's heavily reminding me of what Bonnie went through in season 4 when she went down the path of expression magic. It sacrificed so much of herself in doing that, and I mean she died afterwards. So it's like I don't want to see Josie going through that. And like, why is she the fact that she's taking some advice from some stranger who we know is a creature based off of the cliffhanger in 203. So it's just like, no, you should not be trusting him. So it's just like, why are you? And it's just, I feel like she's, on the one hand, I want to see what Josie's capable of doing with her powers, but on the other hand, I don't want her being a puppet of Artemis, for sure. So there's that. Also, another peeve I did have was minor, and it was Kai's message. I love the fact that we got to see a little cameo of Kai in from Vampire Diaries, but what peeves me is the fact that his video message was just left in some student camcorder for anybody to erase and come across. It's like, I'm surprised it wasn't like Lark didn't keep that for his own archives, and because that was the message that told everybody what Kai did to Elena and Bonnie. So it's like you would assume that either Bonnie would have had to keep on studying it, maybe he slipped something in there in his message to kind of give away what he did, or even for a Lark to figure out what had happened in whatever else Kai may have mentioned to it. But the fact that it was left in some student camcorder to be erased, is just that pissed me off. That's negligence right there on some crucial information. So there's that. And then another peeve I did have was just Lizzie's anger at MG when he told her that Sebastian wasn't real. I mean, I understand it. She feels hurt, and then she doesn't want it to be true. But then to have her just previously in the episodes explain how much of a great friend he is and how much she values that friendship, and then to have her just throw it away and say you don't exist to me anymore. It's just ugh. I know it's in the heat of the moment, but it still hurts, and it's just no. So there's that. But let's move on to random questions very quickly. So this is kind of going back to Lizzie's, the last scene I was talking about with Lizzie's dreams about hope. So the question is, if Lizzie wasn't possessed by the Oni, would she still have had the dreams of hope? Or was it the fact that Lizzie was officially introduced to hope that is what triggered her to have those flashback memories of the dream? Or was it also just because of maybe the wish world kind of coming into play and having those memories kind of slip in, because the genie said that was a tendency for some of her last clients to go crazy. So I'm just wondering what exactly would have triggered, or if it was always meant timeline-wise that 6 months in, she's going to have these memories, or if it is really because she just met Hope and that's what triggered them, or is it because the Oni was in her head kind of messing with it and he kind of maybe dislodged some things, or maybe further revealed some things to her. So I'm just wondering what exactly brought those dreams along, those welcomed dreams along. So there's that. And the last question I did have was, why are certain people able to see Sebastian? First off, Lizzie was always able to see him, and then we have MG not being able to at first and now able to do so. And I believe that the AV student Wade, he was not able to see him. So I'm just wondering, is Sebastian able to choose who can see him and who can't, or is it also part of whatever is troubling him or stopping him from being available, if you were? So there is that. Let's move on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo of the episode, it looks like we get Hope and Lizzie getting stuck in the 80s, and they're trying to figure out a way out. We also get to see them in a little bit of 80s style clothing, which is both weird yet so cool to see. So we'll see about that. But the synopsis for the episode reads, as the Salvatore School prepares for its upcoming 80s themed decade dance, Hope and Lizzie find themselves trapped inside a never-ending labyrinth with a monster on their trail. Meanwhile, Josie and Landon decide whether or not to take the relationship to the next step or the next level. And elsewhere, MG turns to Caleb for advice on what to do about Sebastian, while Raphael struggles to adjust to his life back at the school, and a Lark also appears. So a little bit of something there that is revealed in the promo itself. I'm so glad to hear that Hope and Lizzie are gonna have to solve some things together. Now that I know that Lizzie actually remembers who Hope is, so maybe that'll give them some times to like catch up and truly ask like what the hell is going on, type of a thing. Also, there are some episode stills up of them dressed in the 80s, and I gotta say Lizzie's outfit is looking very cool for sure. Don't know if I'd ever wear something like that though, but I could definitely get the 80s vibe from that. With Hope's outfit, I could actually see some people still wearing that nowadays, so not me for sure, but like yeah, I could see that though. But otherwise, into some news. After the episode released, it was announced that Chris Wood, aka Kai Parker, will be returning in episode 212 of the season, so roughly in the February the episode's going to air, and that's rightfully matched with the fact that we got to see Kai's little cameo in the old archive footage, so that's something there. So a lot of people are going to speculate just how we're going to get Kai back, what that actually means. Plus, we definitely don't know if it's only going to be for one episode or if it's going to be for multiple episodes, but we'll just have to wait and see about that. It's going to be interesting to see because, like, I mean, it's 2030 and Kai is still stuck in the prison world as a heretic, which is a vampire witch hybrid, since he was a former siphon. And he's technically still the true leader of the Gemini Coven. So it'll be very interesting to see how he's going to react when the last time he's seen the twins, they were, what, 3 years old, maybe 3 or 5 years old. So 10 years have passed for him and he still looks about maybe the same age as them. So it'll be very interesting to see how they pull that off for Kai though. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But what'd you guys think of the episode? What'd you guys like about it? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, and opinions about all that good stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I reblog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff all found in one place. Go check that out. I am behind because of school, but maybe I could try to catch up due to my reading week that's happening this week, and maybe if I'm able to step away from some of the family stuff that I've been dealing with right now, I'll try to look into that. But yeah, I'll try to get back into that as well. WordPress account, link for that is down below. Anything I post online is connected to WordPress, a little more organized, a little more detailed, a little more work in progress as well. Same thing for Tumblr, go with WordPress about the whole updating thing. So there's that. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back next week to see what to say about the next episode. And so until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. I still have 3 minutes left on the clock, so at least I beat the timer. So I got to go, guys. Homework awaits me. So take care. Bye.